Okay. This is for the instructors. So when you open this up, you've got 4 options that are going to be possible right off the homepage. So it's going to be search, add a new patient. You can add some in-office personnel. You can add external office personnel. These bottom 2 buttons for the time being probably won't be a huge deal. However, if you want to add, let's say, providers to show on the list of possible providers, this is going to be it. There's really not a lot of patients loaded into here, so it's not like you're going to be able to search off the patients from the beginning. So we're going to start with add a new patient, because some of the ones I put in I've just added, so they won't be available in the copy. But you're going to need your students to add patients to this first. So obviously by simply just clicking the add a new patient button, it will bring up the next series of screens. Okay, so a number of these things are available here for you. You can see that there's an automatically generated record number. The pictures are going to be in part of the next iteration, so for the moment that's not really part of this piece, so I've just left a spot for it here. They can add last names, first names, birth genders. If they click on something that has this little drop-down menu associated with it, what they need to do is simply choose something off of the drop-down menu. You can manually override most of those. I did not lock them down, but you will see that there are drop-down menus for most of these options. Okay. There is some options on insurance types. I'll go over that in just a second, and then there's some in-office other portions. One of the features I think that is great is that if you try to, you can simply cancel the patient. If you cancel, you'll get this pop-up box essentially that says, do you really want to do this, and delete everything you've got going. If you click yes, it essentially takes you back to that original home screen. And if you click no, you stay right where you are with all of the information currently added. If you try to add the patient, and you do not have some key pieces of information, so I'm going to go through the key pieces of information. What will happen is you get this pop-up box. It will tell you what pieces of information are required. In addition, if you look in the background, the ones that are required are here in yellow. So you can see that names, date of births, addresses, social, insurance information, and the physician, and I've loaded 2 generic, some are out of the case study. Just so you're aware that those are the ones that are required. If they forget those, or if they forget any one of those, it will pop up in a yellow background with the box, so that you will know, and the student will know which one is now forgotten before they can move on. Everything else here is optional, so if they add it, it will be saved and it can be recalled, but those yellow pieces are required. In addition, when it comes down to some miscellaneous information, there's those 4 check boxes of just notice of privacy practices, HIPAA, release of information, signature on file. These will be saved. When they're unchecked, the default is unchecked, but you would just have your students go through and check these if you want to do some role play or other that we have given some of these notices, and it's really just a documentation piece. For the insurance information, there are a whole bunch of insurances loaded up, and you can also choose cash as an option. So there is, pretty much everything we could come up with that was at least common. You can add subscriber name, but again, it's not required. The only thing that's required is this insurance type. You could then do payment type. If it's cash, nothing else will pop up. If it is co-insurance, what will happen is you will get a pop-up, and it's going to ask you to do a percentage, right? And so they're just going to key in, say something like 20%, right? That'll automatically go into future calculations on other things that they're going to do. The other option is if they have a co-payment, so let's say you chose like Blue Cross Blue Shield, right, as their insurance, and they have a co-payment. How much is the office visit amount? It's $25. What's a specialist? Maybe it's $50. Okay, so on and so forth. So you would want them to be able to go through based on this payment type, and enter all those additional things that pop up, and those things are unique to the type of payments, right, that have been added in. Those will be saved so that when we get into some of the billing and coding features, you're going to see that some of those features will automatically calculate several things, and so you want them, if you want them to be able to use this patient or this information for future activities and bill generating and CPT coding and all of this other items, you want to make sure that they have correctly added this payment portion with the insurance piece, because that is what the future calculations are based on. All right, once they're done and everything is there, you're going to click Add a Patient, and what it will give you is a nice little pop-up box that says the patient has been added. The good news is that once you've added one patient, there is a check. So if that medical record number, that last name, first name, date of birth, and social are tried to be entered a second time, what you're going to see is that it will not let you add the patient into the database system twice. So there is a check for, right, making sure that we're not duplicating bits of information as well. All right, so once they've saved their patient, you will see all the data. I'm going to show you how to search out patients. So let's say maybe today was just save a patient, and now you want to continue working. We're going to talk about some recalling of patient information in a moment.